Subscribe and give this video a like.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new top 10 series called Gaming Myths and Misconceptions. I am your host Daniel, and today we'll be covering 5 of the biggest misconceptions of the Zelda series. There is a lot of false information being spread around the internet that just is not true. So, as we always do on this channel, we're gonna put an end to those misconceptions, straight up lies, using proof visible on the screen. Let's jump in. Number 1. Every Link is a descendant of the previous. Starting off our list was one of the silliest things we have ever seen. We even made a video to correct not only this, but explain everything that was said during the video. BuzzFeed. So, not long ago, they made these videos trying to explain the Zelda timeline, and while both videos were written to try and mix comedy with facts and try and be entertaining, the only comedic part of the video was how wrong they were, and how many times Zelda fans like us were facepalming or cringing during the video. One of the things that struck out the most was both these videos claim that every Link is a descendant of the previous. This is only true in one specific instance in the timeline, and that is with Link from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, who grows up, gets married, and has at least one kid, and that kid having kids, and etc. Eventually, Link from Twilight Princess is born. This is not only told to us in the game, but the creators of the game have confirmed it as well. Now let's take a look at the other two timeline splits that happen after Ocarina of Time. In the Downfall timeline, Link literally dies, so there are no babies being born there. Sorry, Link to the Past. On the other side, with the adult timeline, Link is sent back in time by Zelda, causing the split. So he literally doesn't exist in this timeline anymore, which was the entire reason that caused the events that set in motion the Wind Waker. Wind Waker even tells you straight up that you have no blood connection to the hero of time. Number 2. Tetra's not Zelda. This one's a really quick one. We have received so many comments from people saying that Tetra is not Zelda. We've also seen a lot of people on Facebook, Twitter, or in forums trying to argue with people who call Tetra Zelda. It honestly just makes us think that they never even played the Wind Waker. For the people who have actually played the game, you'll be familiar with these scenes of almost everyone in the game, including Ganon, the King of Hyrule, calling her Zelda, Princess Zelda. She even refers to herself as Princess Zelda while dressed as Princess Zelda. Official books, which admittedly, those are sometimes wrong, but they refer to her as Zelda as well. The creator of the game, Miyamoto, Aonuma, others at Nintendo, they all also refer to Tetra as Princess Zelda. So if you hear someone in the future making fun of you or being rude because you refer to Tetra as Zelda, just show them this video or send them this screenshot. It's as bad as if they were saying that Sheik isn't Zelda. Number 3. Link is always silent, or Link the mute hero. Link is not mute, guys. Many people refer to Link as the silent hero. While that can be considered a nickname for him, in almost every game he actually does speak a lot. In a few games he even has voice actors who record actual lines of dialogue. Most notably in the Wind Waker, when Link yells, "Come on! Come on!" at Medley, Makar, or a statue. Comedically, he also meows while hiding from Mila. I love it. Meow. In Twilight Princess, Link also says "giddy up" while riding Epona. In Zelda 2, which has no voice acting, Link still has a line of dialogue. "I found a mirror under the table." Oh, let's not forget that in Twilight Princess, there's literally scenes that might as well have been voiced, where you see Link moving his mouth, talking to people in cutscenes in Twilight Princess. I mean, you can't make this up. In Skyward Sword, Link probably has the most lines of dialogue, with a lot of quests and progression in the game requiring Link to pick a response when talking to an NPC. This is dialed back in Breath of the Wild, which I actually kind of had a problem with in one situation. Nintendo always says Link is silent so we can use our imagination to choose what Link says, because if he had voice acting or his words on screen, it may not match what we as the player would say in that situation, and they just want Link to be the best reflection of the character that he can be. This is also why they go out of their way in recent games to make him look kind of both masculine and feminine. In Breath of the Wild, after being asked by the king to do more quests in order to receive the paraglider, Link has two kind of aggressive answers, neither of which being what I would personally say. Like, he just woke up after 100 years of being asleep. He's got no memory of what's going on. Almost everyone he meets tries to attack or kill him, and the only person to help him is the old man So I would imagine Link being a lot nicer or respectful to him, especially since Link is always referred to as being quite kind. The point being here, while Link is referred to colloquially, I guess, as the silent hero, he is rarely actually quite silent. In game, he communicates with almost every NPC that tries to have an actual conversation. In a few games, he even has a tiny bit of voice acting. Number 4. A rushed game is a bad game. Yeah, we all know this famous quote, usually linked back to Shigeru Miyamoto. A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad. A lot of people take this quite seriously and moan or complain about a game being rushed or delayed. This couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, many of the best Zelda games only exist because they were rushed. One example being Majora's Mask, usually ranked at the top of many people's best Zelda games lists. It only exists because it was rushed. Miyamoto wanted to move on to work on a Zelda game for the upcoming GameCube. However, Aonuma wanted to work on another Zelda game for the Nintendo 64. Miyamoto and Aonuma came to a compromise that Aonuma could work on the N64 game, but only if he could have it finished within a year. From the very beginning, Majora's Mask development was rushed and is still considered a masterpiece. It doesn't stop there though. The very next Zelda game, The Wind Waker, was also pretty rushed. Majora's Mask released April 27th of 2000. Nintendo began working on ideas and concepts for the next Zelda game and showed off the famous Zelda 128 tech demo for the GameCube at Space World on August 24th of 2000. That's only 4 months later. Shortly after this, Nintendo settled on the final art style of The Wind Waker and a development officially began. The final game was rushed, so it could be released during the holiday season of 2002. This gives the game just 3 more months than Majora's Mask had. In the end, because it was rushed, a few dungeons, entire islands, side quests, items, and more were left out of the game, and it's still a phenomenal game. Aonuma would go on to say that most of the unused content would be used in later games, which is why it wasn't added in the HD remake for the Wii U. Many other games, including a few other Zelda games, would also go on to be rushed for one reason or another and still be considered great games. While a lot of games which are delayed can go on to be great or even worse than if they would have been rushed, Duke Nukem Forever took 15 years, for example. Both Last Guardian and Final Fantasy XV took around 10 years, oh good lord, and are considered to be mediocre by many. Even Skyward Sword, which I personally love, was delayed and took 5 years to be developed, and is considered by most fans to be one of the lesser games in the series, we'll say. More often than not, whether a game is rushed or delayed, it has the same chances of being amazing as it does of being mediocre. That said, we should probably just take this quote as saying it's okay to take your time and work on something good. The real kicker here, though, is that Miyamoto never even said that. Number 5, Link and Zelda didn't only have one cartoon. They actually had a great one that no one ever talks about. This is a quick and fun one. A lot of lifelong Zelda fans already know of the official Legend of Zelda cartoon from the 80s. Most of us probably grew up watching it in some form or another. I know I had a DVD box set at one point. Newer fans likely know of it thanks to all those dank memes it provided. What a lot of people didn't know is Link's official appearance in other cartoons. We're not talking about the unofficial cameos that just pay some tribute, like the episode of Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, that was a good one. Link makes several appearances in the cartoon Captain N, the Game Master, aka several seasons of a big long Nintendo commercial. He's also the favorite character of the main protagonist Kevin in that show. Link still has a love for Zelda, but isn't as immature in his first appearance. Link is just one character that joins Kevin on his adventures in Videoland. Other classic characters from the 8 and 16-bit era, such as Mega Man, Zelda, Simon Belmont, Kid Icarus, no, not Pit. You thought this was Pit? That's Kid Icarus, of course. And many others, even a parody of Batman. A lot of villains also made an appearance, such as Ganon, Donkey Kong, Dr. Wily, not Dr. Willy, Alucard, Mother Brain, and again, many others, including several original characters created for the show. Thinking about it now, Captain N the Game Master was like an adventure-themed cartoon of Super Smash Bros. and had far less cringy moments than the Zelda cartoon most people remember. Finally, an attempt at a full-length animated CGI cartoon was created in the late 2000s to present to Nintendo, based off their own original art style, but Nintendo turned down the proposal. Many other talented fans have created their own animated projects, but none have been presented to Nintendo that we know of. It wasn't until about 10 years after it was presented that we found out about the one you see on the screen now. So maybe in another 10 years, we may actually have a full-length Zelda movie or TV series. You never know.
Hey everyone, it's me again, 𝐅𝐴𝐤𝐢𝐿𝐼. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the �GameOverJessie channel, please consider purchasing a �GameOverJessie t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/�GameOverJessie, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/�GameOverJessie, and much, much more.